We could use fancy words like succulent, ambrosial, or epicurean to describe.
Well, hi there, Annie Watson. How are you? Mardell, hello. And Patricia, hello. Welcome. I wasn't sure how many I'd get in here this late, not have scheduled it, but I've been so busy. It's just unreal. A holiday, hello. Pretty good turnout for just signing in. I've been so busy you would not believe. I did that video on shortening the door. Got it all painted, sealed and everything. It all dried. I brought it in the house to hang it back up in the doorway. And I lost my grip on it, and the door fell over, and it hit my lamp in the bedroom, and it put a hole through the lampshade. I said, oh no. Now what do I do? Because I haven't been able to find a 12-inch high lampshade like that. And I just didn't know what I was going to do. I get a kick out of you. I am always busy. I can't believe how busy I am. But anyway, I come up with a way to save my lamp, my shades, because it's a matching pair of lamps, antique lamps. And I guess that's why it's so hard to find that size lampshade, is because the lamps are so old. Well, anyway, I bought a new lampshade, but it was only 12 inches tall, and it didn't look right. I mean, it looked too short compared to how tall the lamp was. And I didn't really like the color. So I'm taking that one back. I had to go in for my doctor checkup today for my annual, and which is no big deal. He just checks my blood pressure, and that's basically it. See if I need any prescriptions renewed or whatever. So I stopped by Walmart coming home, and I said, I'd love to have my lampshades in burlap. I thought that would work really well. Well, hi Gladys, how are you? I notified Bloomin', but I don't know if she's napping or what the deal is with her today. So, but I did send her a message that I was going live. But anyway, getting back to the burlap, I found a roll of burlap in Walmart, and it was just what I wanted. I mean, it was 18 inches tall, and it was 6 feet long. And when you cut a lampshade, it's not going to be perfectly oblong. It's going to be like slanted because of the curvature of the lamp. It's always a little smaller in diameter at the top than it is at the bottom. But I said, well, 18 inches should work, though. It had a wide strip of lace in it, and I didn't want that. But I said, well, I think I can take that lace off with no problem, and I'll have just the plain burlap to do my lampshade. So that's what I've been working on all afternoon since I've been home. I just finished wrapping the last shade with burlap, and I think it turned out really well. I like them. I really like them a lot. But I'm not showing them to you now because I'm also uploading the video that I made while I was doing the lampshades. So you'll get to see that later tonight or in the morning whenever it finishes, uploading. That video that I uploaded yesterday, it took all day long and part of the night for that video to upload. That's why it was so late last night when it was published, is because it took all day long for that thing to upload. So I don't know how long this one's going to take. It's about an hour and a half video. But you'll be able to see what I've been doing all afternoon. And I still don't have my mess cleaned up. I don't have my sewing machine put away. I don't have my kitchen completely cleared out. So I got to get that done. Plus, I got to get out there and water my plants sometime tonight when it cools off. I mean, it's still 104 degrees here. And it's at 6:44 p.m. So I'm not getting out there right now to do it. But anyway, you'll get to see that video as soon as it's uploaded and I get it published. But that's saving me, because that one lampshade that I bought was $27.99 before taxes. So, you know, that was an expensive lampshade that really wasn't the right size. So I'm taking that back tomorrow and I'll get a refund, because I've already got my 2 lampshades covered in burlap and I like it like that. But like I said, you'll see them tomorrow when they get uploaded, or later on this evening. I don't know how long it's going to take for it to get uploaded. So you think Danny started at 7? Did he have a live tonight or something? Y'all, you're testing us, Linda. I don't mean to be. I don't mean to be testing anybody, but, you know, hey, that's the way things work out sometimes. Can't wait to see. Well, I did the best I can with videoing, because I'm so cramped up in my kitchen, and that's where I do all my work, basically, as far as sewing or crafting. You know, I'm using my kitchen table, my counter. So that's where it was all recorded. Oh, usually he goes live at about 10 o'clock. I got in not right before your live. Okay. Well, usually he goes live at 10 o'clock, so breathing all that lint from that burlap didn't help my allergies, and I didn't wear a mask. And I didn't get an allergy shot. I didn't ask for one. I said, hopefully I'll be fine. You know, I've been feeling okay. And one reason I was feeling worse with my allergies was because I was trying a new kind of allergy pill, and it did not work. I will never buy those again. I went back to Zyrtec. Zyrtec is what keeps my allergies under bay. Yeah. I know something happened to Bentley. Do you know, Mandel? Yeah, especially when you're cutting it and messing with it. But my lamps turned out real good. I can't wait for y'all to see them. What's happening to Bentley? I watched both of Stephen's videos today, and he hasn't mentioned anything about Bentley. Does anybody know what's going on with Bentley, that she thinks something might have happened to Bentley? He got stabbed in the hand with a pencil. Oh my gosh. That was at school, wasn't it? When I was a kid going to school, I know a girl that stabbed another girl in the back of the hand with a pencil, and it broke the lead off in her skin. But I'm hoping he's okay, and you know, hopefully that wasn't that bad. Maybe it didn't penetrate too deep. I guarantee you, though, Stephen was not happy about all that. He was probably ready to go take some little student out of the school and teach him a lesson. Bentley got stabbed in the wrist, and the teacher was honoring. Yeah, I know Danny was supposed to pick him up this afternoon, because Stephen went somewhere with Hollywood to do some work for him, I think, and he was not going to be back until like 4 o'clock or later. So he called Danny while he was on video and asked him if he'd go pick up Bentley from school. Oh, sorry to hear Bentley had a bad day at school. And it was a girl. Oh my gosh. That's even worse. You would expect some old mean boy to do that, but a girl to do it? Thelma is there visiting. That's something else. Yeah, I don't know if Slim Twiggy or any of the rest of them will know to come in, but you know, I just can't seem to plan my lives anymore because I stay so busy. I never know when I'm going to be able to live up to the announcement. You know, I may not even be there to be to my own live. So, oh, I'm sure Stephen probably has found out by now. Probably hear about it in the morning at his coffee show. Danny will probably tell about it in his show too tonight. Well, hi Tricia, how are you? Jody. Hello, Jody. No Cupid arrows, just pencil stabbing. I don't know. You know, that's how times it starts out. They always say love is the next thing to hate, so maybe that hate will turn into love, and you never know. They may get together later on in high school. Slim's busy making your pancakes. I need to make me some pancakes. I haven't had pancakes in a while. Make me some, well, I was going to say banana pancakes, but I'm out of bananas, so it'll just be plain pancakes, I guess. Got a new puppy named Billy. Andy says she's got a new puppy and she named it Bentley. Yeah, it probably was a girl that liked Bentley, and she got mad about something and stabbed him. Well, hi, Judy Kirk. If I can quit coughing. I breathed too much of that burlap dust working on those lamps. But my whole house is an antique, and those were 2 antique lamps that came from an estate sale. And I had to fix one of the electrical cords to one of them because it was cut. But I fixed it, put me another cord on it, and it's worked fine. But I really like the lamps, and I did not want to get rid of my lamps because of the shade breaking and just because I couldn't find the right size. So I said, well, if it doesn't turn out right, I'll start on the one that got busted, that had the hole in it. And if it turns out okay and I like it, then I'll do the other one. And that way I'll have another matching set of lamps. So like I said, I worked on the first one and it turned out really good. So I went and got the other one and brought it here in the kitchen and got it done a little while ago. No, I never think to wear my mask. And I've got masks all over my house. I got masks that I make and sell. I got masks that I bought. Yeah, there's a lot of fibers with burlap when you're working with it. My table and everything else can tell that because I've got burlap dust on everything that I've got to clean up. My whole house is an antique. My house is an antique. This is a 1969 New Moon mobile home. It was the top of the line back in 1969 when it was built. So my house is 50-some years old. So it's definitely an antique. And that's the reason I treat it with kid gloves, you know, and I repair everything as it breaks down or tears up or gives me a problem. That's the reason I handle those doors with care, because I know how dry and brittle that wood is, that paneling. And I knew how easy that finish would just come right off. So I tried to be as careful as I could, and it paid off because I got my door hung and it's working fine. And it's the right height above the floor now, that when I put the second floor in that bedroom, the door is not going to hit the top of the floor. Yeah. It always helps to wear a mask. My home is a 1940, but is yours a built home or a mobile home? Built homes were built a lot sturdier back in 1940 than this mobile home was built. I mean, it was built good, but it's not like 2x4s and, the heavy wood. They made mobile homes out of lighter weight stuff. I know. I just love these lamps. I don't think I could go in a store anywhere and find any that I could buy that I like any more than these two that I've already got. And like I said, I got them at an estate sale. Yeah, built very well. I like a lot of the old stuff, and since I live in an older mobile, and it is old, everything that I put in it, I wanted to match the age of the house. So basically everything I've got in my house is either an antique or it looks like something like an antique. It looks like something that goes in the house. Like when I first moved in this mobile home, it had a cheap table, and it was kind of a light brown table. It was one of those cheap dinette sets you got many years ago, and I didn't like it. So I got rid of that. I put it out in the shed, and it's falling apart. And I went to Sears in the mall, and back then they had a really nice Sears store. And upstairs in Sears, they had a whole furniture department. And I bought this table with chairs that's the same color as the cabinets up here behind me. And my son was little, he didn't remember it, but see the color of the table and see the color of the cabinets behind it? That's as close as I could come to those cabinets, is this wood table that I've got here. You can see I've still got the sewing machine on the table. But I tried to match everything according to what was here in the house. And even my bedspread on my bed, I hand crocheted it so it's an old-fashioned, kind of like the granny square type bedspread, but it has big squares. And it's got a big border behind it. Because, like I said, I wanted everything to fit the house. You don't want to bring anything real modern in an antique home. It would stand out like a sore thumb, kind of like that lampshade did. It kind of stood out like a light over there, and I didn't particularly care for it. I mean, it's a nice lampshade, and it looks kind of like burlap, but it's kind of a white grayish stone color. And like I said, it was not the right size. It needed to be a good 2 inches taller. And they didn't have any at Walmart that was 12 inches tall. All of them were 10 inches or smaller. So it's going to go back, like I said. And Patricia, hello. You came in on me and I didn't realize it. What year did you buy your mobile home? Well, we rented here for a couple of years. And then, like I said, I ended up divorced after we moved to Texas. We lived out here about 6 years, something like that, and then ended up divorced. And I rented the place another year after I was divorced. Of course, my ex moved out. And I got a call one night from Leonard, the owner at that time. He had bought the place from his uncle. that originally owned it when I first moved in here. And he told me, he said, well, I know I told you when I let you know that I was the owner of the place now, that I'd give you first option to buy the house if I ever got ready to sell it. And he said, well, that's why I'm calling. He said, I got to file bankruptcy with my business. And he said, a lot of the properties that I have, I've got to sell. And I said, I've got to sell that place you're in. But he said, I wanted to call you and live up to my word and give you the first option to buy the house if you want it. I said, well, yes, because I couldn't find another place that was half as decent as this with a nice yard anywhere in Granbury for what I was paying here. So I went to the bank the next day, got the loan approved because, I already had good credit. They sent an officer out here that next day, or that very day that I went to the bank, and she looked at the place and she said, yeah, it's well worth the amount that you want to borrow. So I called him that night and told him, I said, well, I guess the house is mine. I got the loan. And I said, the only thing left to do now is just sign the paperwork. So we signed the paperwork and the house is mine. But to answer your question, I can remember I was divorced in 83, and I think I bought the house either that next year or the year after. So it had to be either 85 or 86 that I bought this place. But it was like maybe 6 years old when I bought it. And the property it's sitting on and the house all went together. That was all one sale. So I didn't have to move the house or anything. The gas tank came with it because the people that had the place before had bought the tank. So it is my gas tank, 500-gallon tank. But yeah, I've lived here for a long time. I mean, we moved to Texas in 1978, and lived in Indian Harbor, I think, the first year. Then we moved over here and started renting this place. And I've been here ever since. So I've lived here since, 1979 at least. I mean, like I said, we rented. Then I ended up divorced. I rented on my own after he left. And then I bought it. And I'm still here. I like it too. I just wish sometimes the weather was not so hot. It's still 104 degrees, and it's 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's 104. That is way too hot, y'all. Too hot for me to get out there and water plants, that's for sure. I'm going to wait till it cools off just a tiny bit. Well, it dropped to 103. But even at 103, it's too hot for me to be out there. Annie Watson said, I got my seeds. I'm so excited. Well, I'm glad you got them. Yeah, my place would have been a lot nicer this summer if we'd have got some rain and it had not been 104 or higher every single day. I mean, when it's that temperature every single day with no rain, it doesn't matter sometimes if you water or not, your plants are still going to burn up. What did I eat today? Excuse me. Well, I bought a roasted chicken at Walmart yesterday when I went in there and picked up a few things because I didn't feel like cooking when I got home, so I got one of their roasted ear chickens. So I made a sandwich for lunch today out of it, and then tonight I made a chicken sandwich out of that chicken that I bought. That's what I ate just before I went live because I had to get something in my belly. I was getting hungry. No, I'm originally from North Carolina. My mother was from New York City. My dad was from North Carolina. So I lived part of my childhood growing up in New York, most of it in North Carolina. And then in 1978, the family moved to Texas because my ex-husband, who was my husband at the time, worked for Comanche Peak Nuclear Power Plant, or here in Texas, and they transferred him from North Carolina power plant at Southport to Comanche Peak to work out here. So that's what brought us to Texas. I kept saying I was not coming to Texas, but I ended up here and been here for what, about 44 years, something like that. Did little Buddy have any children? You talking about the cat? Cat don't have kittens that I know of. It's a male. If he's got, so he wouldn't have kittens. He couldn't have. Yeah, I'll make soup with part of it that's left, the carcass and some of the chicken's small pieces and stuff. I'll throw it in a pot and cook those bones down to nothing and make me some soup. You're asking me, did the chicken... Oh, you're asking Buddy have any chicken. He won't eat chicken. I've tried to give him table scraps. He turns his nose up at it. He's got to have canned cat food, or he's got to have cat treats. And there's a lot of the dried food he don't want. So I've found if I put a handful of dry food in his bowl and I dump that wet cat food on top, mix it up, he'll eat every bit of it. He's a choosy cat. He's spoiled. He's right here behind me on the floor right now. Yep, one of those cats. He's spoiled rotten, and he's cute, and he knows it. He definitely knows he's cute. I'm drinking Pepsi, y'all, which is a no-no. I tried to quit drinking soft drinks, but when I picked up groceries yesterday, I had to get me a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi. A lot of times I do good and I walk right by that shelf and I don't get any soft drinks at all. But I guess the heat made me do it. I had Pepsi yesterday. But, I probably won't get another one for another month. Yeah, I spoiled him, and plus, I think the people that owned him before me spoiled him too. Because I tried to feed him chicken scraps and, meat scraps and all kind of stuff off the table. He never would eat it. I mean, from day one that he came over here. So he was used to getting his canned cat food and stuff. But he's definitely been spoiled since he's been hanging around here. Yeah, I used to drink a lot of diet soda, but I kind of kicked the habit. I don't know if it's true or not, but some people say that the diet sodas, the artificial sweetener in it, tricks your body and it makes your body think that it's getting sugar, and it tries to store all that. And it actually makes you gain weight even though you're drinking a diet soda, because it's playing tricks with your body. Because I know I drank it for years and I kept gaining weight and gaining weight. So finally I just went back to drinking regular sodas. I didn't get the diet anymore. Yeah, little Buddy loves his treats. He makes them disappear. You watching two lives? Are you watching Danny's live too, Jody? I do that sometime. Sometimes I'll be on here on Tuesday or Friday morning and I'm watching uh, Steven's coffee show and I'm watching Helen White at the same time. And I'm trying to type in chat. Of course, Steven's is a replay and Helen's is live, so. I think we've all been guilty of watching two different lives at the same time. Yeah, I think so too, because he stays over here most of the time. And these hot days, he wants to stay in the house. He don't want to go out where it's so hot, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to go out there either. Too hot for me out there unless you're staying under a shade tree and you don't have anything to do. Get up and start moving around when you start sweating. Yeah, I know. There's so many people that I like watching till I'm going from one show to the next, and then like I said, sometimes I'm watching two at a time. I'm watching one on my laptop, one on my phone. Trying to keep up with all of them. I was hoping Slim Twiggy would get in, but she's not in tonight. She may be busy. Said, no, I did a little bunny belong to a neighbor and then adopted him. Sometimes I text my mom a response for a YouTube. She's like, who are you talking about? I know. That's why my allergies have been so bad this summer. Because it's been so hot and dry. Everything in the yard is just dried. The grass, the weeds are just dried to a crisp. I mean, like potato chips. So it just puts so much more pollutants and dust and allergens and everything else in the air that people like me with allergies, it makes it rough on you. If we just get a good rain, it would clear the air out and I could breathe good for a day, I can tell a big difference when it rains because it clears that air out. But there's no rain for us anytime soon. There's none at all in any of the forecasts that I've looked at. Even the 10-day forecast, there's no rain. Makes it bad. Yeah, I don't know how much of my video is uploaded because when you upload them so late, it takes forever for them to upload. It seems like when you try to upload them in the prime time of the day for everybody on the internet, it takes them forever to upload. Look on my phone here and see. It's only 27% uploaded right now. And it's been uploading for at least an hour. So, your guess is as good as mine if it'll be uploaded by the time I go to bed tonight. You're behind on the news. Well, you know what? I've got a TV, I got a laptop, I got cell phones, everything that I can stay up with the news, and I don't even watch the news. I hardly ever watch the news anymore. It's got so depressing, and I said I usually keep up with everything on YouTube anyway. Anything going on in the world. My ex-husband said, "Well, that's stupid that you don't watch the news. You don't want to know what's going on around you." I said, "I already know what goes on around me. I don't have to watch the news to get, to find out." And I said, if I've got bad weather coming, my phone alerts me to bad weather. My telephone alerts me from the system they got here in this county. And as far as Biden being in the Ukraine or wherever the heck he's at, I could care less. He needs to be over there in Maui seeing what he can do to help out the people in Hawaii that just lost all their homes and stuff. What actually got you started on YouTube? Well, I was on YouTube years ago, but all I did was upload songs that I had recorded and sang, and I never got into it big time. And then finally my channel was hacked. I lost access to my channel. I couldn't even get into my channel anymore. And it was a long time after that before I even started up another channel. And I finally started another channel, and I said, well, I've gardened a long time here in Texas. And I said, it'd be nice to be able to get on there and do videos and show people some of the stuff that I've learned about growing in this area with this kind of heat that we had. So that's what got me started doing my garden videos. And when I set the channel up, I set it gardening, composting in place, growing in totes, buckets, big pots, you name it. And then I also added other entertainment, arts and crafts, that type of thing. So I would not be restricted just to doing a garden show or planting something or cooking, Well, it was, cooking what you grow as well. So I had a lot of area there that I could cover with videos for my channel. But yeah, I've been on YouTube for many, many, many years. Didn't go live with it. I didn't promote the channel or do anything with it until now. And I've been doing it for going on 2 years now with my channel the way it is. And I'm glad I did. I enjoy it. It was for a while that I was so bored after I retired. I was just bored every day. And then I got into gardening, doing the videos and all that. And now it's ended up that I don't have enough time in the day to do everything. So I went from being bored to not being bored anymore, for sure. There's Bloomin'. Hello, Bloomin'. To see you made it. I didn't know if you were sleeping or out doing something or taking care of business. Do you watch about Summer Wells? No, I haven't seen anything on Summer Wells. What's going on? I don't think I've heard. Oh, a missing girl out of Tennessee. No, I haven't heard about that. But there's so many missing kids and missing people in this world. It's unreal. How old is she? Yeah, that's what I said. How old? How old a girl is Summer Wells? She a little girl, teenager, 5 when she went missing. Oh, how sad. How long has she been missing? Has she been missing very long? Oh, 2 years. Well, she was either kidnapped and she's God knows where by now, or she may not even be alive if it's been that long. And that's sad. 5-year-old. That, because I hear on the news all the time where these women turn up 30 years old and they've been missing since they were 3 or 4 years old, where they've been kidnapped and held as captive in some people's houses and treated as a slave or whatever. And then finally, when they reach about 30, 40 years old, somehow they end up loose and can let the world know that, hey, I was abducted when I was a little girl, but here I am now. It's heartbreaking. This world has got to be a total circus. Sex slaves, yeah, I know. There's some sick people out there, sick puppies, I tell you. I know that's one reason I don't even care about watching the news, because you hear about all that stuff. And I know I shouldn't be that way, but if I dwelled on all that, I'd be so far down in the dumps and stressed out. I mean, if I could personally do something about it, it'd be different. But just like that little girl, the little Summers girl, I hate that. And if there was anything in the world that I could do to help find her or bring her back, I would do it. But really, there's nothing I could do personally. Yeah, new discoveries. Where you going, little buddy? He's going back toward the bedroom. I found him the other day. He was not only laying in the, but his belly was laying right across the AC vent in the floor where that cold air was blowing up. That was a funny sight. He was laying across that vent where that cold air was blowing right up on his belly. I said, well, you ain't no fool. I thought that had been too cold. You want to go out? He scratches the door when he wants to go out. Go ahead. I guess he's going to take a restroom break. Yeah, we can pray. That's one thing we can do. And just hope the good Lord is looking over her. I tell you, it's frightening what this world has come to today. You hear about all this stuff going on, and it's terrifying, really. New arrivals prepared for this fall. Forgot to turn the volume down on that. So what has everybody else been up to today? Anything exciting like repairing your lampshades? Yep, Satan is definitely on the loose, blooming. Yeah, I like to keep up with things. I just don't want to dwell on them, I don't want it to make my daily task of just listening to all of it. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's been many years ago, and it was scary. I mean, it was downright scary. But this guy that lived on the other side of town, he was living with this woman that had a couple of kids. And the little boy and the girl were not too old. I don't remember what their ages were, maybe 8, 9 years old, something like that. I don't remember what he did with the little boy, but he took the little girl to the woods. And they found her in a graveyard where he'd left her. And I believe he killed that little girl. And then he turned around and killed himself. Well, a relative of his lived in my subdivision where I'm at right now, between here and the lake, which is probably 10, 15 blocks down. He was so upset when he found out that his brother did that. That man literally went out in his front yard and hung himself from the tree in his yard. And that's where they found him. He was hanging from the neck, dead, in the tree in his front yard. And then that was terrible. I mean, it was hard for me to fall asleep at night after that. Because, I mean, he could have went crazy and did harm to anybody. It didn't necessarily have to be those kids. But it was sad that it did happen. But I said after that, he should have left the kids alone and just killed himself and been done with it. The world would have been better off. Yeah, his brother couldn't deal with it, that his brother had done that, kill that little girl. And I don't remember where they found the little boy or what he ended up doing with him. But I know he ended up killing himself, and when his brother found out about it, he couldn't deal with it. It was more than he could deal with, being that was his own brother that did that. And I guess he didn't want to face the community or anybody, because, people look at you like you're the one that did it sometimes. And he just ended it. Yeah, it was sad, and it was downright scary at the time. And I used to have neighbors that lived down at the end of the street on the corner. And one night, somebody drove by their house and shot through their wall. They were laying in bed. And thank God they were laying down, because the bullet come through one wall, crossed the bed, and went out the back wall behind them, just above their heads. Didn't hurt anybody, but the bullet come in and went right back out. If they'd have sat up in that bed at that particular time, it would have shot them. They never did find out who did that drive-by. But what kind of mind just shoots a gun through someone's house? And I thought to myself, well, they could have just as easily come down my street and shot through my wall as theirs. I don't know if the people knew who they were, if it was targeted toward them, or if it was just a random shooting. No one knows. Oh, I know what you're talking about because I know what it's like when I get down sick and I can't do anything. And there's just so many things I got in my mind that I want to get up and do and I can't. So I know what you're talking about, Blooming. It's kind of discouraging, I know, when you can't get up and do what you want to do. Keep my phone spick and span. I used to keep my house spick and span. It was like a doll house, all decorated. Well, I'm sure your house is clean now, and it probably looks like a little doll house. I wish. I know I do things now that I'm not supposed to do, and I do pay for it the next day. But there's things that's got to be done, and I guess as long as I can halfway do them, I'm going to be up doing them, I guess. You haven't put up a Christmas tree in years. Well, you'll have to get somebody to come in and put you one up for you. Well, the point is you've got a Christmas tree that you can sit there and enjoy for yourself. That's why I put up my Christmas tree, if I put it up, is because that way I can enjoy my Christmas tree myself, whether anybody else comes to see it or not. Some years I feel that way, and other years I don't want to mess with it, so I don't even put it up. But I usually put one up outside in the yard. Hi, Peter Vare. How are you? Glad you could drop in. Yeah, I put a lot of stuff up in the yard. That way I can enjoy it in my yard, and people that drive by my yard, they enjoy it. I know my neighbor said he can't wait from one year to the next to see what I'm going to put up in my yard for Christmas, because I always go crazy and decorate the whole yard. I put up all kind of trees and decorate them. I put up Santa's sleigh and reindeer and all kind of stuff. Just been watching Trump. Why do trees depress you? Make you want your babies back home? Can't anymore. I know some years I don't put anything up in the house. Like I said, I put everything up out in the yard because it's all in the shed. I just drag my trees out, set them up, plug them in. Put my sled out, and my reindeer, and my unicorn, plug them in, and that's my Christmas decorations. Can't wait to see it. Well, if God willing and I'm able, my trees and my reindeer and my Santa's sleigh and all that'll be up this year. I missed hearing your laugh, Gooch girl. Brilliant. I bet things are pretty where you're at too, Peter, during Christmas. I watched you decorate your tree last year, Linda. It was beautiful. Yeah, the one in the house. I think Peter's from the UK. I think that's what he told us one time. Well, y'all, I'm so sleepy from traveling. I guess so, if you've been traveling very far. We love Christmas in the UK. Yeah, and I bet you show it by all the decorations that are put up too. Well, I felt like that some years, Blooming, and I didn't put my tree up. Last year, I said, I'm putting my tree up. I said, me and my YouTube subscribers might like my tree, whether anybody actually comes to my house to see it or not. And after I heard that my neighbor said he couldn't wait from one year to the next to see what I'm going to put in my yard, that just kind of encourages me. Because some things are the same, but I try to add something different every year. Like last year, I put a front of a little house, and I had Santa with his wife, Mrs. Claus, standing there leaning toward one another, giving one another a peck on the lips. And I had a light that shined up on it. And they thought that was the cutest thing they'd ever seen. You finally got you a small tripod to set up on your piano so I can video home songs. Well, that's good, Blooming. That way you can add more songs to your channel, and we can hear them. Isn't that Motel 6 that says, I'll leave the light on for you? Well, that's real good, Blooming. I can't wait to see some of your more of your videos that you record. You'd like to go magnet fishing and record that? I've never heard of magnet fishing. But you need someone to take you. Martiel, you get down here, girl, and take me magnet fishing. I've never heard of magnet fishing. That's a new one on me. What is magnet fishing? You put a powerful magnet on the end of a rope. And then I guess you catch anything that sticks to the magnet. Yeah, I imagine you could get a lot of things with a magnet that was very strong. Might get some things you don't want. Be all right if you caught something that somebody lost that would stick to the magnet was worth something. Instead of just old rotten decayed metal or something. I don't know. I've never done it, so I don't know what you would catch. Very expensive motorcycle? Oh my gosh. Others have retrieved Civil War rifles. Oh, they've got to be worth some money too. Not a gun in the bank box. Well, I actually made a live. TTT Sharon. Yep, you made this one. And it was not planned. Gladys messaged me and said, you need to do a live. I miss you. Well, I didn't get to go live yesterday, but I said, well, God willing, I'll go live for a bit this evening, so I did. It was a very expensive bite. Yeah, I can imagine there's been some pretty interesting things you find at the bottom of the river, creeks, or anything. I mean, just like people take metal detectors out and sift through the sand at beaches and stuff, they find all kind of things. Necklaces, keys, some stuff that's worth some good money. Yeah, the guy the motorcycle belonged to had left his wife and he didn't want her to have the motorcycle, so he drove it off the bridge. Oh my gosh. Well, he probably would have been able to keep his motorcycle regardless. I haven't found anyone to take you out to use it. Well, I have a boat, so I wouldn't be able to take you out. But you could go use the magnet off of the end of a pier somewhere, I'm sure. Fishing pier or something. Then you'd find all these hooks that people have lost. That's something else. Did that to his because he didn't want his wife to have it. They probably let him keep his motorcycle in the divorce settlement. I bet he never thought about that. That's something. My chat stopped here for some reason. No, I didn't see that where Stephen was dragging the cash register out last year. On the bridge and cast the magnet over the side of the bridge. Yeah. Yeah, they probably didn't know whether it had been stolen or not. Well, out at the dam, that I did in one of my videos here last week, when the water was really low, there was a teenage girl out walking in the edge of the water, and her foot hit a it was kind of like a safe. Somebody had thrown a safe out in the water. I don't know if they intended to put it there, whether it fell off a boat, or they were hiding it there because of what was in it. I don't know. But her dad called the cops. They came and got the safe, opened it, and there was about $600 in cash in it. And I don't know if there was other stuff in it or not. But they took it back to the police station, and they told her that they would make an announcement on finding the safe. They wouldn't tell what was found in it or anything, but would announce that if anybody lost a safe or put one out there, they were missing it, if they could identify the safe and what was in the contents, they could come get their safe. And they told the girl that chances are nobody's going to claim it, and if they don't, then it would be hers. And I never did hear after that if anybody claimed it, which I doubt they did. But she probably ended up with $600 cash out of finding that and turning it in, which I think was a pretty good deal. Last year they found when the water was really extremely low. Hi, Connie Jones, Mrs. Weaver, hello. But last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, when the water was extremely low in the lake, out here on the other side of town, at the end of a road going toward the lake, where this motel was, this little road went right down in front of the motel rooms, and it dead ended right at the lake bank. Well, this woman came up missing, and she'd been missing for 3 or 4 or 5 years. But when that water was extremely low, somebody saw the pickup under the water. They pulled that pickup out of the water, and it was her vehicle or her husband's vehicle, and she was inside with her purse. So they don't know how come her to drive off into the lake, whether it was foul play or maybe she was going too fast and didn't realize she had took a wrong turn and just drove off in the lake, or what happened. But she was found in the front seat, and her purse was laying on the seat with her, or her remains were, That just goes to show you there's no telling what's under this lake out here. The water gets low enough, it's going to reveal a lot of stuff. Some stuff people don't want ever being seen again. Yeah, and that poor man was wondering what in the world happened to his wife. She took off one evening to go to the store and never came home. And then years later, he finds that she was at the bottom of the lake in her vehicle. Linda, I'm hungry. That's why I ate my chicken sandwich just before I started my live, because I knew I'd be hungry too. And Connie Jones. Well, I'm tickled to I'm tickled to death with the turnout we got this evening, when I really didn't even plan to have this live. I just did it on the spur of the moment. Yeah, I'll send her home with cookies. There's Anna's mobile home life. I'm doing fine. How are you, Anna? Yeah, I think I've got a pretty good group of people that come into my lives and that subscribe to my channel. Well, thank you, Gladys. Everybody needs to hit the thumbs up. There's only 16 thumbs up that I see, and I got 27 people in chat. What's up with that, y'all? Yeah, I've tried that to find out that I was allergic to the solution. So anytime I use it, anytime I use the neti pot, I have to remember to rinse out with plain water after I use it. Because if I leave that solution up there, oh, it will kill me. It gives me the worst headache you've ever had in your life. It did my brother the same way. And I told him, I said, don't use the solution. Or don't use the salt water or whatever they tell you to use. And if you do use it, rinse out with plain water afterwards. Because it liked to kill me when I used it. Leaving that solution up in your sinuses, it liked to kill me. I had the worst headache I've had in my whole life. Yeah, it dries you out a lot. But I tell you, after that, I wouldn't even put anything in the water. I just used the plain water when I used the neti pot. And I haven't used it now in many years. I've got it, but I don't use it. But I got to talking to my brother one time, and he said, you know, I use that. Said I ended up with the worst headache I've ever had in my life. I said it was because you didn't rinse out after you used that solution. Because I said the same thing happened to me. It made my head hurt. My sinuses, oh my God. I hurt so bad. Oh, I felt like somebody hit my head against the wall right between the eyes. Like I said, I've still got it, but I don't use it. I haven't used it in many years. Well, I know the first time it rains, my allergies are going to clear up. And I've put up with them this long, so. And it's not good to take allergy shots all the time. I have to admit, though, most of the time, the most I get them is maybe once a year, sometimes not even once a year. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I told my brother, I said, don't use the solution in it anymore. Just do it with plain water. And I hear little buddy at the door. He's scratching, wanting to get in. I guess he's got too hot outside. Let me go let him in. Ooh, his steam come when I opened it. He says, let me in. Hot outside. At 103, yeah, it's too for that little buddy outside. Ain't that right, little buddy? He just flopped right down in the floor, belly first. I don't know if I can show him to you. Here, let's see. I got too many contraptions all around here. I don't know if I can get down that far or not. See him under the table? He's already spread out flat belly down. No, he's going to move because he knows he was on camera. He knows I'm talking about him. He went and got right back. He's cooling that belly off. He said it's too hot outside. Too hot out there for him to be out there. He said, I want in where it's cooler. They are sprawled out, Bloomin'. He's doing the split in the floor with his belly just flat down to the floor. He's cooling that belly off. He does it all the time. And like I said, it was even funnier when he laid right across the vent in the floor. That cold air was blowing up from the vent. He laid right across it, had his belly laying right on that vent. Now that was hilarious because I figured that air would have been too cold coming up for that vent, hitting him on the belly, but he seemed to like it, and he stayed there for a little while. Yeah, he's a smart cat. I know it's too hot for him outside, not to be out there all day long in this heat. And my daughter-in-law has been trying to get her cats to go out some during the day, and They don't want any part of being outside. It's too freaking hot out there. She said one of them got out accidentally. She must have taken the dogs out or something. And she went back in the house with the dogs, and all of a sudden she heard something scratching on the back door that comes in from the garage, and said she opened the door and there was her cat. He had gotten out, and man, he was ready to come back in the house. He was having a fit for her to come open that door. He didn't want any part of being out there in that heat. Animals aren't dumb. Yeah, animals have a lot of sense. Yeah, he's a good cat. He's a pretty cat. He's still under the table. Where are you going? He's gonna go get closer to the vent where it's colder on the floor. Yeah, I'll show him you over here. I think. Maybe. He went to this side. The vent's right there at him. So I know it's pretty cool down there. Those vents keep that floor cold. He said, I think I like this spot. Yeah, animals have more sense than people sometimes. I know when it gets 105, 106, 107 and above, I mean, you know it's got to be miserable for the poor animals outside. I mean, I can't imagine what the horses and the cows go through that have to be outside all day long. I mean, they can get under a shade tree, but still, even in the shade, that's hot. Well, have a good night, Holiday. Got to get my cookies going. Oh, Holly, don't leave me. I'm going to have to get outside pretty soon, even whether I want to or not, and put water to my plants. We've been on here not quite an hour and a half yet. Fix some good cookies. Yeah, I was wondering what kind of cookies she's fixing. Yeah, I imagine the animals' feet get pretty hot, especially if they have to walk on pavement or concrete very much. Yeah, I don't want to put it off too late. At least I can halfway see outside. I hate being out when I have to take a flashlight to see what I'm watering. But sometimes you can't help it. It's not dark yet, and I can't take the tripod out and try video in the dark because you can't see me. The only thing you'll see is the flashlight moving around. I videoed it one night, but it was not dark yet. I mean, you won't be able to see anything but black. You can't see that right now because it's still daylight outside. The sun's going down, but it's still light. It's not dark yet. You can see that in the door behind me. See the daylight coming through the door? Move over this way too. But you can see it's daylight back there. It's not dark. Oh, I've got so much to do. It's going to take an hour or 2 hours maybe to get out there in water. I still got to come back in here and clean up my kitchen. Get my sewing machine put away. Get all this burlap dust wiped up off of everything. Okay, let's go. Whoa. Cat just like took my tripod away with my camera on it. It's just too hard to try to film and water at the same time. I get out there as hot as it is. I want to hurry up and get it done. Get back in the house. And even when I do that, I'm soaked in sweat by the time I get back in the house. I'll take you on another drive, Gladys. There's still more fishing spots and hangouts that I can show when I drive around, so I'll do another one of those pretty soon. I'm up to 31 people. $33, wow. Maybe I need to go live at night more often. That might be what I end up doing. Go live maybe every Thursday night, or I don't know what I'd be giving away. Well, yeah, I do too. I got something over here. Where? I don't know if any of you are fishermen, but I got some bait. Artificial worms or fish. I don't know what they are. The Slam series. They're saltwater, to catch saltwater fish. So, let's see what I can ask. Okay, in that video that I took the drive in, where was the first place I visited? What was the name of that campground that I went to very first thing? Does anybody know? Did anybody watch that video? I think I titled it, You Asked For It, so here it is. Patricia, you leaving us already? Mrs. Weaver hit the like button. I guess nobody wants artificial bait, huh? If you do saltwater fishing, this would be good. These have never been opened. No, not camping and fishing. The name of the camp, what was it? If you went live in the evening, that way you could tell the day. Did nobody watch the video other than Gladys who doesn't remember the name of the campground? It was the very first campground I showed in that video. Oh well, I guess if nobody answers it, keep it for the next time. If I went live in the evening, you could tell us about what you did all day. A lot of times you see what I do because I do videos of just about everything. I'm old. I don't remember the name. Sorry. Ah. Oh well. I figured Peter would be probably the only one that would even be interested in winning that, and I don't know if he lives anywhere close to saltwater fishing. Oh well, we can save it for another one next time. Okay, y'all, I've been on here for an hour and a half. It's getting dark. I got to get out then start putting water on those plants. Yeah, I bet you if I put up cookies, you'd remember. You'd be doing all kind of guessing games. Patricia says I watched it, but I don't remember. All of you watched it, but you don't remember. Oh well. I figured that would be the one place you'd remember because it was right at the beginning of the video. I mentioned the name of it so many times. No, it was not Granbury State Park. The one toward the end of the video was Hunters State Park. Hunters, Hunter State Park. Well, you got to remember too, I'm old. I don't remember a lot of times either. I'll tell you the answer. It was Decadover Bend Dam. Remember in the video where I showed the dam that was built at one end? And the campground was right beside it? Decadover Bend Dam was the park we were at. Most people refer to it as the dam. They'll tell you, well, we're going out to the dam. Well, everybody knows where the dam is. So all you have to tell them is, I'm going to the dam, meet me at the dam, or come to the dam, we're going to have a cookout. Everybody knows where to go. I just did. Decadover Dam Park. And there's a Decadover Bend Estates just before you get to the dam. But anyway, like I said, I've been on an hour and a half. It's getting dark. I got to get out and try to put some water on those plants. It's going to take me probably a couple of hours to get it done. So I got to make tracks and try to get busy. Well, I love each and every one of you for showing up tonight. I'm so happy you did. Makes me feel loved. And I love it when you spend time with me in my live chats and watching my videos. So tell everybody you know, if they haven't, the silent viewers that are out here, if you haven't, if you know people that haven't subscribed, liked, or shared my videos, tell them to do it. Connie says Gladys chocolate chip cookies would get your memory cued in. Oh, wow. You women are something else. Yeah, all of you have a great night. Anna, Connie, Gladys, Patricia, Anna's Mobile Homes, Bloomin', Connie, Miriam, Mardell, Peter, and everybody else that was in chat tonight. Y'all have a blessed night. And I'll see you on my next one. Bye now.